In the preface, on the onset, as expected, Nietzsche launches into his caustic diatribe as proper philosopher monster, sermonizing menacingly, not words of some new creed, but words of moral revaluation. With a megalomaniacal monologue to rival that of the Sermon Mount, he gathers the unique few, not those which comprise the common hoi polloi, but those of similar virtu and constitution. To the capable alone he extends his voice, that these may make use of listening. He speaks, as most great sages do, with exclusion, to only those who have sensed and continue to perceive the inverted dichotomies that govern man's beliefs. What the majority have deemed good is sickness, and therefore that which is healthy is, in a manner, perceived by them as unjustly privileged, and therefore justify a vilification. Nietzsche here assumes the role of the Satan, which is Hebrew for the accuser, he that points the finger, accosting with accusation and making demands for proper assessments and the correction of inverted morals. This is, at heart, a violent exorcism of pity. From the perspective of the I-Theist, the self-crowned, self-ennobled few who have become as such in the face of religious falsities designed to suppress individual progress, to those self-deified minds of actualized internal sovereignty, Nietzsche's preface reads like a welcome Luciferian manifesto. Signaling such with a warning, he commences, "This book belongs to the very few, for it is a secret gospel of power, its Luciferian flame preventing entry to those unwilling to endure its light, a light born from the isolated mind ere divinely inspired. The self-righteous surplus would, in God's name, vainly judge this as heresy. However, the cretins haven't the power to judge, or they haven't the capacity to discern, God being far removed from their doctrinal delusions. Nevertheless, Nietzsche, operating as the accuser, would seek no meek approval regardless, but demand this restoration of stately airs via a purification of fire." The first aphorism concerns the measure of the health of the spirit, which is no moral extrapolation, but a physiological certainty, one of an abundance of vitality and strength. The decadent, according to Nietzsche, are those whose instincts have turned against themselves, becoming sick in the process. Christianity not only thrives from this sickness, it sanctifies it. To the master-minded keepers of the Herren Moral, the I-Theists, and the Satanists, these Nietzschean insights reap from the same seed, sowed from vitality and never submission. We who measure our virtue by the abundance of our capacity and not by the poverty of restraint. Nietzsche, in a sense, declared that which Dr. LaVey would later codify, that indulgence is more sacred than abstinence, for conviction in desire, not denial, would be divine. The inversions of morality by which the masses are unwittingly confined obstruct the light of this revelation, that what they've long deemed sinful are mere symptoms of being, of living as earnest earthly animals, a thing of purity and the general causality of life. Conversely, the Christian virtues are deathist. The Christian virtues are deathist. Aphorism 2. The inversion of values prompts the inverting of crosses. Nietzsche here traces the Christian corruption of morals, which esteems itself to weakness and makes contemptible all that flourishes. He deduces this the result of resentment, a thing which has long reversed the polarity of human ethical understanding and their corresponding behaviors. Our war, if any, is not one based on good versus evil, but that of excellence against mediocrity. This satanic I-Theism is no counter-rebellion to the inversion. It is its long overdue correction. 3. The physiology of the decadent. Physiology of the decadent. The diagnosis is in, and our doctoring Nietzsche has declared the sickness of the Christian spirit a condition vexed with self-hostility, a system demanding the castration of virulence, a transvaluation of grandeur to guilt. The priestly caste, bemoans Nietzsche, has an interest in the sick becoming worse. The avowed Satanist knows this all too well. How the two-faced religions of the right-hand path use one to cast aspersions on the sinners, whilst the other gluts and fattens on their blood. The glorification of suffering there provides their masters with ample banquet, I'm sure. You can start to see here how much the Nietzschean perspective and Levé's Satanism converge here, like twin Luciferian flames, each denouncing Christian pity as a form of parasitism. 4. Aphorism 4 is a declaration of war. What is good? All that heightens the feeling of power. What is evil? All that comes from weakness. Here the philosopher's mallet, a sobriquet of Nietzsche, smashes the fixture of moral law, collapsing it before the recognition of its reconstitution as biological hierarchy. This is the Règle morale, that born of lords and creators, themselves born to an onus to lord over and create. It is the master morality, not born to the bindings of any race, but to that of expected individual excellence and mastery, the likes to which but a small minority are born capable. The self-deification of I-Theism is not only inherent in those of that predilection, but lies in the process of forging the Godhead from the self, opposed to the delusional belief of having somehow already inherited it. Mankind, by and large, whether operating from honest self-examination or whether trafficking in self-deceit, engenders its respective divinities in equal measure, to the magnitude of each's capacity, and none more. What is declared in Christianity as the sin of pride is clearly seen here as a Nietzschean virtue. The modern religion of the Church of Satan extends this to encapsulate all of the cardinal sins as those which lead to mental, physical, or emotional gratification, these serving less as a cautionary and more like a manual to better living. If Christianity has reversed live to read evil, then the assimilation of that which they've deemed unholy would only begin to serve as emblematic symbolism in response. The devil, or Antichrist, for example, serving not as polar antonymous enemy to God, but as prototype of the free spirit. Its adoption having less to do with repurposing and more to do with restoration. 5. The restoration, or the revaluation of value. Here the prophet spawns his great progeny, a stronger new species. The days of weakness and pity as law come undone. No longer shall the weak dictate unto the strong, and no longer shall pity be the law. The dawn of the sovereign self, the exalted I, immortalized within its enthronement. For the I-Theist it is fundamental, clear, bright, and forever illuminating. The black inner flame, which remains the Luciferian flame, preceding the ascension unto mastery. Nietzsche's Antichrist is one such fire. May its unique resplendence shine favorably upon your thrones. This has been Erchen Moral, I-Theism and Philosophy. Enjoy your evening.